Let's head to the other end of the island though, Maraho, on the coast west of Kaiteriteri in the Tasman district at the top of the South Island. Gita also went there, of course, although the locals thought they'd escaped relatively unscathed at first. But one area of the community was hit by a deluge not of water but logging debris brought down by the water. And in a meeting with the Tasman District Council tomorrow night, they want to discuss three things: who's cleaning it up, who's compensating them where compensation is required, and who's making sure that the debris that remains in the hills but is loosened and looks precarious is cleaned up before it can do any more damage. Now, Konstanca Palzer lives in Maraho with her husband Robert, and she told me what happened.
We were basically standing at our living room window looking outside going, what is all this hoo-ha about Gita? As it was raining, yes, but the wind wasn't very strong and we didn't expect anything much more to happen. But then all of a sudden one of our daughters just yelled, the horses, the forestry. And on our flat land we have about 13 horses belonging to two different daughters. And a flood flash from the forestry behind us, which is hilly and reasonably steep at places, and it has just been harvested, just came down like a tsunami and brought with it logs, an endless amount of logs, and the water came like a river, like the very beginning of a river, and it just flew over our property. The horses were running, jumping fences, breaking fences, and just running away from it. And then it just carried on, and it didn't take very long, and we had a real strong river going across our paddocks. And you know, at a later stage, when we knew the horses were fine, we actually looked at it and said, on the waves, on the river, one of our sons, who is a whitewater kayaker, could have gone playing in the wave. It was just the enormous amount of water that came down in this flash flood, and we had 3 of those.
And the water brought with it the debris of the logging?
Well, that's exactly right. Well, it was the water that swept down the debris of the logging.
And the debris included logs? Had some logs not been cleared yet?
Oh, well, a lot of stuff was just left behind by the forestry at that stage. I do not know whether it was ever planned to tidy up, but what was lying on that hill just came down with the water. And what's even more scary, there's more up there.
And it's all on your land now. The stuff that came down the hill is on your land.
That's right. That's on our land. It went across the road. It went into wet water area. And, not just on our land. I mean, the same happened at other places in Maraho.
So what's the community doing? I understand you are going to have a community meeting about this?
Well, the TDC is, there are other areas in close by affected as well, like Rewalker and Brooklyn. And I know that TDC has met with people from other areas. Tomorrow they come out to Maraho and they will, they give us an opportunity to listen to them and hopefully listen to us. See, the way I feel about it, it's not, we don't really want to talk with the logging company. We don't want to have anything to do with them. It's council. The logging company needed a resource consent to harvest, and they got the resource consent, and the outcome is this. So, firewood for the next 23 years on our land for us and all our friends, and mud everywhere, and land that can only be used as grazing once grass will grow on it again, which is actually tourism zoned. We could have a campground there, we could have all sorts of things there, but really we can't, because exactly what has happened now has happened about 25, 30 years ago when that hillside behind us was harvested then. So we actually want to deal with the council. The council needs to make sure that it gives resource consents that protect the people in that area, not anything else. We don't have anything to do with a logging company.
So the meeting's taking place tomorrow night. Some people are pretty exercised about this in the community. The Tasman District Council says its contractors and local forestry companies are working together to remove logs and debris that has impacted its infrastructure across the district as a result of Gita. It says local forestry companies are identifying dump sites for the debris. The company have also been asked to help with resources to remove logs, especially where it is impeding infrastructure such as bridges, culverts and roads. The council tells us the forestry companies are also actively remediating any damage to private companies. We're going to keep an eye on that because we've heard some people who say that's not the case yet.